Hello everybody, welcome back to another weather forecast here by Agent Weather Forecast. This will be another severe weather forecast here throughout parts of the plains here, mostly the southern plains. We do have another severe weather risk for millions out here. We also have a very widespread flash flooding threat. So if you want to know where the worst of the severe weather will be today, be sure to watch the whole video, as well as who will get hit the worst and also where we'll be seeing likely for tornadoes, hail, and damaging winds. We're going to be tracking all these areas that can be seeing severe weather, whether it's a general risk, marginal, or even the slight risk that we have today. Also, I'm planning on having my final hurricane forecast or outlook coming out in the coming days before June 1st, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But without further ado, let's get in the video. Please subscribe if you're new, and let's get into the severe weather update. So let's go and check out the National Weather Service here. Let's check out the active alerts that we have in place for throughout areas that we are looking for severe weather. So like I said earlier, we are going to be seeing a huge flooding threat across millions, and that's actually going to be continuing on for the next coming days. We're going to be seeing a ton of flooding threats and possibilities across these areas. We do have flash flood watches and also flood warnings across many areas in the south, central, and even parts of the Ozarks, all the way to Louisiana and Texas. So we have all the way from parts of Nebraska to Iowa to Louisiana and Texas that we have flash flood watches, and we also have flood warnings in some of these areas. So we're definitely going to be seeing a ton of rain throughout these areas. We've been seeing a ton of severe weather and a general rain for the past coming days, and we already have the soil is already saturated, and we're going to be seeing that huge threat as well for power outages, maybe uprooted trees because of the saturated soil and the strong winds from the severe weather. Not only that, we also have flash flood warnings across areas into central Nebraska. There we do have that for south central Nebraska, a couple flash flood warnings there. We also have scatter flood warnings across parts of Nebraska, Missouri, Arkansas, Kansas. So as you see, we definitely have a very widespread flooding threat, and this is going to be where we also see some of that severe weather today. We're going to be seeing non-stop pop-up bands throughout the next coming days that could bring in pretty heavy downpours, strong winds, and possibly hail in these areas in the next coming days as we get warmer temperatures and more energy. So definitely be seeing these flash flood watches staying there at least another 24 hours. Same thing with Florida as well. We've been seeing a ton of rain in the past 72 hours from a system out here in the Gulf that brought in a ton of rain. Actually, we saw up to a foot of rain for some of these areas. We're going to continue to see that heavy rain from parts of Miami, all the way to West Palm Beach, and all the way across to Jacksonville. We do have severe weather threats here. But let's go and check out the radar here for the south central and the central plains to see exactly where the severe weather is right now, and really how severe it is at this point. Right now, we're not seeing the worst of severe weather right now. We're actually starting to see it starting to develop right now. This isn't really severe weather. It's kind of just generally heavy rain. This is going to be, you could see you could hear a thunder or two, maybe see a couple of lightning strikes. This won't really be a huge severe weather threat. Really, the big severe weather threat is going to be maintaining for parts of southern and parts of western Texas today. There, we're going to start seeing these bands developing parts just near San Antonio, as well for parts of Louisiana. Going to be seeing these widespread pop-up bands to develop. Going to start seeing that heavy rain throughout parts of Dallas, Fort Worth, Gainesville, Texas there. And then we're going to start seeing that severe weather to develop very soon in parts of the central plains and part of the Midwest here for parts of Nebraska and South Dakota. You guys will start to get that severe weather quite soon here in the Great Plains. This is just going to be really heavy rain. It's exactly where we had those flash flood warnings and flash flood watches across these areas. Going to start seeing the heavy rain as we speak right now, and it'll kind of turn into severe weather as we move later into today. As we now look into the SPC Outlook for today, let's go and check out the new update here. So this is a new update. As you see, we have a slight risk throughout part of the south central, and the only state is actually Texas. So we only have really Texas, seems like they're going to get the worst on it based on the probability. But as you see, we have a very widespread severe weather threat and a marginal all the way from Michigan to the areas of the Texas border, or the Mexico and Texas border. Very widespread threat for the marginal threat. Like I said, we are going to see a very widespread threat in general for severe weather. And look how widespread that general thunderstorm risk there for parts of that light green. It's very widespread threat for just a general risk as well. But in the dark green, that's where we have that small possibility for hail and winds. We don't really have a probability for tornadoes today. And then our slight risk, we have the highest probability for hail and winds. As we check out the tornado threat, also going to be seeing that 5% chance for tornadoes across these areas in parts of really kind of parts of south central, southwestern Texas. Like I said, the tornado threat is not too high, really not a huge threat in these areas whatsoever, except for the Texas part. That's a slight risk, but these areas in the marginal risk, we had that, or some areas in the marginal risk, we actually do have a 2% chance, and it's kind of wind down. It's going to minimize, and it's going to wind down the little area that could be seeing that tornado probability. As you see there, it's going to be winding down to this general vicinity, so it's not going to be including the whole. It's not going to be including the whole marginal. So if you are in that 2% chance, you definitely want to be on the lookout, but really not huge threat as of right now. I just want to be on the lookout. If you really want to be on the lookout, you're going to be in that 5% chance there. That's where you have a decent chance for tornadoes there. That 5% chance, for the SPC on the tornado outlook kind of relates to maybe a 20% chance in my opinion, or a 50% chance. Because obviously you can't guarantee a tornado in the exact same area, or you can't even guarantee a tornado in the first place, unless it is a really favorable. As we look at the hail probability, we do have a 15% chance and also a significant risk for part of Texas here. We do have a significant risk for parts of southwestern Texas there. And we also have that very widespread 50% chance in that yellow. As you see, we don't really have a hail probability really anywhere for much of that marginal risk except for the Midwest. And also the hail threat, the wind threat's also very not super high. It's at a 15% chance, which is kind of decent probability there. So that's what we're looking at here for today's probabilities and outlook. If you look at the NAM3CAM model here, check out actually how intense these bands will be, and also the location, the timing. This will be what we're looking for. So here you have really the current right now is this is the next hour or two. We're going to be seeing this heavy rain moving through Gainesville, Dallas, Fort Worth. Also seeing these strong bands starting to develop throughout parts of Louisiana and Texas, like we saw on the National Weather Service radar. Also seeing that stronger bands north of San Antonio starting to move and advance a bit more to the north. And also here you have that really heavy rain and bring that flash flooding across areas of the central plains there. As we now move later on today, like I said, we're going to be seeing more of a severe weather threat as we continue to move on throughout today. We're going to be seeing very strong and powerful bands across areas of the Midwest. Going to be seeing powerful bands throughout southern Iowa, much of north central Missouri, parts of Kansas, and also very powerful bands across these areas of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. And this is where we start to see that severe weather developing for parts of where we have that 5% chance for tornadoes, and also that slight risk, because seeing some strong bands in these areas, definitely be seeing that great probability for severe weather in these areas for southern Texas. And then we saw that widespread possibility for strong pop-up bands across these areas of the Ozarks and also parts of the South Central. We're going to be seeing very widespread potential for some strong bands. Let's go check out the Midwest or the North Central U.S. here, where we see that marginal risk here. Could definitely have that probability, of course, for hail and parts of Michigan and parts of Wisconsin that kind of will wind down there. But areas like Des Moines, Iowa City, Davenport, parts of Illinois, you guys can get some more severe weather continuing on and off today, more like in the afternoon. And the last thing we'll be looking at is the Cape Valleys. As you see, we do have those highest Cape Valleys in parts of where we have that slight risk. As you see, we do have that probability or that chance for parts to be seeing 3,000 plus joules per kilogram there. We have that tornado probability. Only at 1 point, almost a 2 on the SCP, but still have that probability there. And as you see, we also have the very decent Cape values across much of the eastern United States here. That's exactly why we have a marginal risk for parts of Illinois. We have a marginal risk for Missouri. It's exactly why we do have a decent amount of energy in place of these areas. Almost 2,500 joules per kilogram, and that's just a severe weather threat, not really a tornado threat. And then for parts of the Ohio Valley, we will getting close to 3,000 joules per kilogram there. Could possibly see more than just a severe weather threat, not really anything else at that point. And then the energy kind of goes down a little bit for parts of the Texas, but for southern Texas, like for the far southern tip there near Corpus Christi and all that, that's where we're seeing that energy kind of skyrocket there. Could possibly see close to 4,000 joules per kilogram there. As you see, 4,100 joules per kilogram. Seeing the tornado probability there, to around a 2 on the 2 on the SDP there. And as you see, these numbers kind of climb a lot more for parts of the Midwest and parts of the Ohio Valley. We could possibly reach almost 3,000 joules per kilogram for parts of Wisconsin. We've seen that severe weather threat throughout these areas there. Also going to be seeing that 2,900 joules per kilogram for much of the Ohio Valley as well. So this is what we're looking at here for today's severe weather threat. It's going to wind down tomorrow. Of course, it's not extremely severe for today. Not going to be seeing 10 plus tornadoes, nothing like that. It's just going to be really, there's not really much to talk about. I was going to talk about the heat, but I just thought might as well just do that tomorrow. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and bye guys.